There's a moment when you can feel the energy in a room shift, when the people who once walked with their chests out suddenly start looking over their shoulders, whispering, calculating. That moment is happening right now. And if you've been paying attention, you can see the panic spreading faster than anyone will admit. For months, the loudest voices in the political arena acted like they were untouchable, unshakable, ready to shout down anyone who dared step out of line. But suddenly, they're turning those shouts on each other. And the reason why? Well, that part is getting harder and harder for them to hide. Because when a political party starts filing more censure motions in a single week than they normally do in an entire year, that's not strategy, that's desperation.
Oh, let me see. All right. Will the Republicans do anything about Trump? They have been trying to censor people all week. Child, listen. I think we're at a record for censors. I really do. Like, it, you don't, I mean, y'all, somebody on the internet, y'all can go Google this and figure it out. But I don't know that we've ever had 3 censor motions in 1 week. We usually don't have 3 in a year. Like, I mean, it was very rare. Yeah. And that's where we are. Do I think that the Republicans are going to do anything about him? It just depends. I think the more that they see the writing on the walls, as we go through these special elections, as we look at the numbers, I think November 4th was a wake up call. I think that's one of the reasons that some of them are like, maybe not so much, because baby, he on his way out, whether he like it or not. You get 2 terms maximum as president in these United States, okay? And some of them want to stick around for a while. Some of them want to have political careers. And it's going to crash and burn if your only answer is to do whatever Donald Trump told you to do. It is. That's not sustainable, like, whatsoever. And I think some people are waking up to that. But I think, the more that people show up to their town halls, the more that we show up at all these other elections and overperform, I think the more likely it is that we start to see some movement. From TikTok, when will the Epstein files come out? Okay, so y'all know I don't trust Pam, right? Y'all, y'all know I don't trust her, right? So I'm gonna just say this $1 million question. I will tell you that according to the bill that was filed and signed into law, they are supposed to release it within 30 days. I just want to remind y'all that oversight has had outstanding subpoenas to the DOJ, and thanks to the Epstein estate, we getting stuff. That's all I gotta say. So, and Pam she was stuttering the other day at a press conference. I think it was yesterday. She was like, right. So I fully anticipate she's going to say we've got ongoing investigations, even though she had previously announced that there was nothing to investigate. But now she's like, well, we've got new information from the estate. And it's like, well, girl, if y'all were doing your jobs and you were doing the investigatory work, then y'all would have had this too, right? Or am I wrong? Maybe Pam don't know nothing about trying cases. Again, she about to lose that Comey case. Hell, they lost the sandwich case, y'all. They lost the sandwich assault case. The fact that they brought a sandwich assault case is just okay, I'm done with that part. Let me move to the next.
People don't lash out that quickly unless something is slipping out of their hands. And you can practically see the fear creeping in as they realize the one person they built their entire identity around is running out of time, running out of power, and running out of political usefulness. They won't say that out loud, of course, but their actions are screaming it. And here's the thing. When people see the writing on the wall, they don't wait for the ink to dry. They move. Quietly. Suddenly. Strategically. And right now, those moves are happening behind closed doors, in town halls, at small events where they hope nobody notices them distancing themselves from the very person they once defended with their entire careers. But voters are noticing. And some of these elected officials are waking up to something uncomfortable. Loyalty doesn't win you re-elections. Numbers do. That's why November 4th hit them harder than they expected. Special elections, turnout numbers, overperformance in local races, it all shook the room. The kind of shake that makes you rethink your entire strategy. The kind of shake that makes you ask yourself whether tying your political future to one fading star is worth it. Because when a leader is limited by law to 2 terms, everyone around them knows there's an expiration date on that influence. And now that the countdown has begun, people are deciding whether sinking with the ship is worth the applause they got while it was still sailing. But the real shockwave wasn't about elections. It came from a single question, one that nobody in that room was prepared for. When are the Epstein files coming out? That question exploded across TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, everywhere. And the reactions said it all. Suddenly, every deflection, every dodge, every vague answer felt a lot heavier. Because this time, the public wasn't distracted. They wanted answers. And they wanted them now. The law that was passed, yes, the one everyone's been whispering about, requires those files to be released within 30 days. 30 days. You could hear the tension when that deadline was mentioned. Not a suggestion, not a guideline, not a maybe, a requirement. And standing at the center of that storm was the one person who has become the face of those delays. Pam Bondi. The moment she stepped in front of that microphone, you could feel the pressure in the air. And instead of delivering a confident statement, she stumbled. Literally. Her voice cracked. The sentence fell apart. She paused like she was searching for the next excuse, the next justification, the next official explanation that might buy more time. It didn't land. People watching were confused, then irritated, then suspicious. Because here's the bizarre part. She had just recently said there was nothing to investigate. Her words. And now, suddenly, there's new information from the estate. New information? Excuse me? If there was nothing to investigate a few days ago, how were they blindsided by brand new documents that conveniently appear just as public pressure hits its peak? That's not strategy. That's scrambling. And the more she tried to explain it away, the more the room tilted. Her voice cracked again. The phrasing got messy. She resorted to that classic line you hear when someone doesn't want to give a real answer. We have ongoing investigations. Right. Ongoing. The same investigations she said didn't exist. The same ones she dismissed. The same ones that conveniently keep everything under wraps. Rumors online are already swirling. Some say she's buying time. Some say she's trying to get ahead of a leak. Some say the internal documents are contradicting each other and she doesn't want to be the one caught holding the bag. None of that is confirmed, of course, but the fact that so many people are speculating tells you everything you need to know. Trust is gone. And here's where things get even wilder. Because while the department keeps insisting the process is slow, the Oversight Committee has outstanding subpoenas that still haven't been fulfilled. Yet somehow, the Epstein estate, yes, the estate, has already supplied information that the department hasn't. Read that again. The government, with all its money, power, and resources, can't meet deadlines. But the estate can. If you're wondering why that feels backwards, you're not alone. The public is asking the same question, and the silence coming from the top is louder than any answer. You can feel the frustration leaking from members in the hearing rooms. They're tired of being stonewalled, tired of recycled talking points, tired of being told soon without any actual progress. And you can tell some of them are starting to wonder whether someone is trying to slow walk the entire release until the pressure dies down. But the strangest part? The moment that truly exposed how messy this entire situation has become wasn't about files, deadlines, or subpoenas. It was about a sandwich. The now infamous sandwich assault case. Yes, that actually happened. The fact that the department spent time, energy, and resources on a case involving a sandwich, while claiming they don't have enough bandwidth to handle one of the most high-profile document releases in modern history, tells you exactly where priorities have been. And then they lost the case. They lost the sandwich assault case. The jokes practically wrote themselves. That failure became a symbol. People looked at each other and said, wait, how can the same team that couldn't win a lunch-related case be trusted to properly investigate one of the most controversial figures in recent history? It exposed the cracks. It exposed the inconsistencies. It exposed how badly internal organization has slipped. And suddenly, Pam Bondi's stumbles made a lot more sense. Because when the foundation is shaky behind the scenes, the spokesperson always feels it first. And that brings us to the real question. The question people are quietly panicking about. Will the Epstein files actually be released? Or is this just another delay tactic? The law says they have to release them within 30 days. And that deadline doesn't pause for political discomfort. It doesn't adjust for awkward press conferences. It doesn't care whether the spokesperson is ready. The clock is ticking either way. What makes this moment different from all the previous promises is that the public is watching with sharper eyes than ever before. The numbers don't lie. Millions are discussing it online. Hashtag trends, video clips, viral breakdowns, internet detectives digging through past statements. And elected officials can feel it breathing down their necks. That's why you're seeing panicked censure motions. That's why you're seeing shifting alliances. That's why you're seeing sudden concerns from people who were perfectly silent 6 months ago that it's not principle. It's pressure. When voters start showing up to town halls demanding answers, when local elections send shockwaves, when social media feeds become nonstop conversations about what's being hidden, politicians don't ignore that. They can't, because their careers are built on surviving public opinion. And right now, the public wants answers they can't spin their way out of. What happens next? If the files come out on schedule, we're headed for one of the biggest political earthquakes in recent memory. Names, connections, inconsistencies, whatever is in those documents will reshape the conversation instantly. If the files don't come out on time, the fallout might be even worse. Delays only confirm what people already suspect. Someone behind the scenes is terrified. Either way, this countdown isn't slowing down. And the people who relied on silence, secrecy, and familiar excuses are realizing that the world they built is collapsing faster than they thought. Buckle up. The next few weeks are going to be chaotic, revealing, and maybe even historic. And as more information breaks, I'll be here walking you through every twist, every shift, every contradiction, and every moment they wish you weren't paying attention to. Make sure you hit subscribe, tap like, and turn on notifications, because this story is only getting started, and you're not going to want to miss what comes next.